You know what the good part about this game was? A victory. A victory. Finally a victory. 2-1 victory against Freiburg. Now I will say this as well right before I start this video, or well, the beginning of this video I guess I should say, is that I did not see the first half. I overslept the first half, and apparently we played very good in the first half, so I'm kind of like, why is it the one time that I'm not watching we actually play a good first half? I'm not really sure, but it is what it is. Now, the second half, I can't speak about the second half, because I watched the second half, and the second half was strange. With some very good moments, but unfortunately they had a lot of very good moments too, so it was kind of a mixed bag, to be honest. It was a case of, when they put us under pressure, we looked fragile. We looked like we've been looking the past couple of weeks, where anytime somebody attacks us, they score. Before they scored the first goal, I was like, they're gonna score, because I saw them make the substitutions, and I was like, okay, we all know how this corner is gonna go. They're gonna take it. One of our players is gonna switch off, and they're gonna score from it. They could have, in all reality, scored a second goal right in the last minute, but it didn't. So they kind of got lucky there. How does that song go by Fort Minor? 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 15% pain, and 100% reason to remember the name. I think that's how it goes. So, yeah, really in this like phase right now where I just want to win. If I'm being completely honest with you, I just want to win. That's all I am seeking right now, is a victory, a win, a W. And we got a win, so I can't complain about that in the slightest. A victory is a victory, and ultimately it's 3 points. Dortmund dropped 3 points, Leipzig dropped 3 points, so us getting those 3 points is at this point very, very crucial. Despite the fact that I personally don't think it makes that much of a difference, because in the grand scheme of things, if I'm being completely honest, I don't see us losing it. Even despite our poor form, I don't see us losing it, and that's just kind of how it is. We looked good though, but that's the thing. We looked solid. I thought overall our performance was good, despite the fact that there are moments where I do question. There are moments where I do question the substitutions. Today, the Kimmich one is the one I didn't really understand, but it also makes sense considering that he just played in midweek, and thus, he's played several minutes, so I can understand it from that perspective. But yeah, Javi, I completely understood that substitution. I completely understood that substitution, because Javi, he offers us stability defensively, so I'm okay with that. Yeah, I know it's probably not the wisest move to go on a playground during a global pandemic, but it is what it is. I wanted to get out a little bit. But yeah, Javi, I can understand that substitution. We were only 1 goal leading, and we have shown how to maintain balance here. But it is, we were only 1 point leading, and we have shown in the past couple of days that we're not really that good when it comes to seeing the game out. So I totally understand that substitution. In terms of Sané, his performance was actually, I thought, very mixed, but in a good sense. I thought, like, once, obviously he got the assist for Miller's goal. Miller, by the way, getting a goal and an assist. But what I liked about Sané was that you could see his confidence is returning. He's taking people on. He could have gotten a goal in like the 85th minute, dribbling past like 3 players, his shot being safe. He is not 100% there yet, but you can definitely tell his confidence is returning. Musiala coming on, I'm always happy with that, of course. I didn't see the Gnabry injury, so I don't know how seriously he's injured. I don't know if he's going to be out for a long time or he's going to be out for a short time. People said that it looked almost immediately that he was injured, so you could tell almost immediately that he's injured. I don't know whether it's a good or a bad thing, to be completely honest, because it could be a good thing in a sense of, well, it's not underlying issue, but it could also be a bad thing in the sense of, well, who knows? So, 3 points. That's what matters. To be completely honest, 3 points. That's what matters. I won't be here. I won't just. Well, I was gonna say sit here and complain, but I won't stand here and walk here complaining about it. Because at the end of the day, we won. We got the 3 points, and that's what matters at the end. So, overall verdict. I mean, granted, I only watched the second half, so I can only give my overall verdict from the second half. I didn't watch the first half, but I'm actually very happy with how he performed. I'm very glad that just making sure that I don't touch anything with my right hand at the moment, because that's what I use. That's what I touch to swing, so I can disinfect it later on. But like overall verdict of the game, I was very satisfied. Neuer, I thought did pretty well. I thought he was let down for the goal again. Typical, being let down for the goal. That's just, it's sad, but it's really typical. Like, I go into this game, again, I'm expecting us to concede. We didn't concede in the first half, but I knew, okay, I'm watching the second half, they're going to concede in the second half. They're doing it for me. They're doing it justice for Prince. That's basically what they were saying. You know, they were waiting for me to watch the game so that they can then concede the goal. That's exactly what happened. So, am I sad about that? Am I furious about that? Not really. I expected, which is the sad thing. That should be the furious thing, but yeah, I expected it. It happened, and ultimately, at the end of the day, it's not going to change. We looked, I can't say we looked bad defensively. We actually looked relatively good defensively. We just had moments where we completely collapsed, and that is my issue. It wasn't so much a case of, oh, we're looking bad defensively. It was more so a case of, oh, we are, oh wait. It was more so a case of, we actually looked relatively solid defensively, but once they put us under serious pressure, we crumbled. And there was a report coming out earlier this week saying that, like, in training they were focusing predominantly on the defensive side of the game. I can't say I necessarily see it, but I can't say I don't see it. It's going to take some time, obviously, to work on the defense, so I'm not expecting immediate changes. And I think it's too easy to say, well, just don't play the high line, because it's not the high line that's the issue, it's the pressing. Not depressing, it's the pressing. Our pressing up front is not that great, it's not that intense, and that allows the other teams to do what they want to do. That allows the other teams to actually play the ball forward. You know, last season we played with the same high line that everyone kept complaining about. And yes, we were lucky in a lot of instances. We had individual masterclasses from Neuer, we had individual masterclasses from defenders. I get that. But football, a whole team is, what shall we call it? A whole team is currently in a bad patch. They're currently playing poorly. So just from that perspective, I do think that, let's head into this dark alleyway. Just from that perspective, I do think that, I mean, completely honest, I do think that it's going to take some time. I've said this already, I think last week, or maybe 2 weeks ago, I'm not sure, but I've said this already. I am waiting for the Schalke game, because we need that momentum right now. I don't know why, but for some reason the players are currently in a very bad patch. Whether that's form, whether that's attitude, whether that's just overall consistency, whether that's the whole package. I don't know what it is, but it's just all the players are currently in a very bad patch. And we really are at the stage where, like, personally, I feel like once you have one victory, we're going to look so much better. And I didn't really expect much against Freiburg, if I'm being completely honest. But I do fully expect us to spank Schalke like 6-0. Because it's Schalke. If it was Hamburg, I would have said the same thing about Hamburg. There are two teams that we generally always beat quite comfortably. One of them is Schalke, the other one is Hamburg. So I'm actually at this point where I'm like, I fully expect us to beat Schalke convincingly. When I say convincingly, I'm talking about like a 5-6-0. I feel like once we have that 5-6-0 victory, then we can really build from that. The players will suddenly start getting more confidence. Suddenly we'll be better defensively. It just takes that one convincing win. It's not so much the big win, but the one convincing win. I think that will be Schalke. Now, I could be completely wrong here. I will lose against Schalke. I don't think so. I don't see that happening at all. But yeah, that's just my thought. Like I think after the Schalke game, we're gonna see us play significantly better. I think we are currently. We can't get better. That's the issue. We're not that good. We're not that. We have the attitude, but we also have the complacency, which some may say, well, we just want to treble. Of course, you have some complacency, but that's not good enough. These players are, we have World Cup winners in there. We have winners that have won all that won the Champions League before. So there shouldn't be a complacency factor. So some may say, well, it's the break. Well, then the lack of break, I should say. That's a valid argument. But a lot of these players, they're getting breaks. Unfortunately, it's unwillingly, through injuries or through simply not being played. But they are getting breaks, so it can't really be a fitness issue. So for me, it's just a complacency issue, which is kind of sad because we're usually a team that isn't complacent, at least in the first half of the season, and we only generally get complacent once we've already wrapped up the season. Typically, if you think back a few years, the whole discussion was always, well, Bayern win the Bundesliga so early, so they don't have the sharpness anymore, and that's certainly an argument that was made back then, perhaps a fair argument. But now I'm looking at it, I'm like, we haven't looked good the whole season. It's not just like second half of the season, not just once we've wrapped up the titles, but we've not looked good at all. I don't know whether it's a lack of fans, maybe because after winning such a big trophy, the fans would push the team on. I'm certain that if we played, I'm certain that with the way we played over the past couple of weeks, there would have certainly been some boos. And I think that would really get to the players. Now, it's kind of funny considering we won the treble last year. But again, that was last season, this season, so you really have to look at it that way. What I will say is this, though: a win. That's the important part. A win. Happy, very happy about it, and I'm just saying this. Hopefully, we have more of these. Hopefully, we also have more control performances, and I think the game against Schalke is going to be instrumental in that aspect. One thing that I do want to mention is Mark Rocker not playing. It is what it is. I've been an advocate for him. I've been saying that I want him to play a lot more games. He hasn't. I also said in the last one that I don't think he's going to play anymore this season because, the way kind of, like, he had a good performance in the Champions League, gets a red card. He has a good performance in the Cup, misses a penalty. So it's a little bit sad, honestly. It's a little bit sad. I do want him to play. I think Schalke would be a perfect game for him to boost his confidence and to rack up a very good performance and win the game, so on and so forth. To, just overall do his confidence a little bit of a boost. But we'll see. We'll see how it all pans out, ladies and gentlemen. But regardless, yeah, a victory and 3 points. That's all I can say. That's all I will say about it. So we move onwards, upwards, and as always, so difficult doing this with your wrist. As always, forwards. I'll see you all. I'll see you all in the next one, everyone. Until then, have a nice day.